But when I mention behavior, I think specifically in SaaS, are there things like product demos, trials, presentations, or questions or sales stages that you recommend or you find work better than others?
Yeah, I mean, and this is what I would say its core is like, if we're talking about like sales stages, I'll tell you one that I see most people miss and skip. And it's really, actually, there's a couple, which is really interesting, right? So like there's what's called the disco, right? Which is the discovery, right? Where you're basically just pounding the prospect with questions and trying to see if they're a good fit for you, right? At least that's how most people kind of approach it. One of the things that I, believe it or not, I don't see this with larger annual contract value deals, 6-figure deals sometimes even, is like, and I saw this with it was an HR company, it was managed learning services, and they had a lot of really big Fortune 500 companies. But one of the things they didn't do, they were trying to move from more project-based solutions to like enterprise approach. And so one of the things that they weren't doing is they weren't like systematically like basically doing an assessment where they were building alignment, not just logically and getting the ROI, but emotionally across the different players in the business. And so I see people skip over that step a lot. They'll go from the demo, they'll talk to a few people, and then they'll go into proposal. Okay. So that's one step. The other step that I see a lot of folks missing is what I call the pre-strategy meeting. And it's so critical. Basically what it is it's like you're validating all the ROI assumptions that you built into the solution, or the business case ideas of what's really going to make them go over the top. You're validating the decision-making process. You're revalidating everything, right? And then at the same time, you're like pencil selling the cost of your solution to get feedback on how does it stack up versus the competition, timeframes to close, and then at the same time, also just like benchmarks of do they think it's a good solution, right? And then the good thing about it is if you do that, and let's say it absolutely goes, it's brutal, it's terrible. Like they're just like, that sucked, Ryan, which I've never had that happen, but I've had people, where they're basically throwing like visual tomatoes at me, right? Where like, it just wasn't good. Yeah. Or to my team. And I'm like, okay, that didn't go so well. And then it gives you an opportunity to like retreat and regroup and say, it's like, okay, well, that was like our first run at it. Obviously we missed the mark. What would make it a home run for you to basically have everything that you wanted? And then you kind of re-architect the solution or the deal. They're like, you're 70% higher than the competition. You can be like, okay, then you could systematically pick apart what they were including that you weren't, all these, and vice versa, and all those kind of situations. So